Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry it's been a minute. I've been super busy. Work was really busy. We had a conference and then home's been busy as well. I've been to a concert. I went to see Harry Styles the other day and everything's just kind of run away with me. So I'm sorry it's been a while since I've filmed, but I'm happy to be back and discussing Black Mirror with you guys today. So if you know me, you know that I'm not much of a series kind of gal. I watch a few here and there and I'm trying to do that at the moment actually. I might have something exciting coming for you. But yeah, the only series I tend to watch is the ones I've been watching for years, and then when they release a new season, I'll watch that. One season I always come back to is Black Mirror, and I'm always super hyped for new Black Mirror. It's fallen off the last few seasons. I will admit I haven't got much enjoyment out of it since maybe like the third season, but I'm always excited. I always know we're going to get something unique and fun. So I thought I'd watch Black Mirror over the last couple of days so I could rank the new series for you all. So before we get into the ranking, I'll just say a little bit about what I think of the new series as a whole. And I'm pretty mixed. So there's some episodes I enjoyed. There were some that I liked but I didn't think fit with the tone of Black Mirror, and then there's a couple that I didn't really like at all. So across the 5 episodes I've been kind of all over the place really. My number one is one that I really like, and I think you'll all be able to guess which one because it seems to be like the general consensus for which one is the best. And the same with the one at the bottom, it's probably like the worst Black Mirror has ever done. But yeah, I'm pretty mixed on it. I will say though, even the episodes I wasn't super hyped about, I still had fun watching them, and I love that about Black Mirror. You never know what you're going to get. There's a twist in every episode and they're like mini movies really. A lot of them are feature length too. So it's like 5 episodes, something new every time, and it's always a little bit exciting. So I enjoyed a lot of the performances that came out of season 6. I enjoyed a lot of the ideas. As a horror fan, I was kind of excited to see a lot more horror incorporated into the show. Whether I think it fits or not is a different thing altogether. I do feel like the series as a whole missed the sci-fi thing a little bit, and it did lean more towards horror, which normally I'd be a huge fan of, but as it's Black Mirror, I don't know if I'm super happy with what they've done. Glad they're doing something a bit different, but I do think it missed a lot of the whole sci-fi technology element of the show. Anyway, let's get into the ranking. I'm mixed on the whole thing, so we're going to have a broad spectrum here. But in last place, in my number 5 spot, is Maisie Day. I absolutely love Zazie Beetz, so when she was cast in this role, I was super excited to see what she could do in a Black Mirror episode, and she is not at fault. She is great. We also have Danny Ramirez in here, who we recently saw in Top Gun Maverick, and he's just as good as normal as well. I really enjoyed all the performances and I really enjoyed the setup too. It's just the twist ending didn't quite work for me. It was entertaining and it was fun, but yeah, the twist ending, it just didn't fit in with the series as a whole, and it kind of ruined all the setup, which is a shame. So Zazie Beetz is playing, she's Paparazzi, and she recently quits because something goes down that she's not too happy with herself about, so she decides to take a step back. And then she finds out that someone, there's a famous celebrity that hasn't been seen for weeks, and whoever delivers the first shot of said celebrity gets like 30 grand. So she's like, okay, I kind of need to do that. So the whole episode is her basically trying to find this celebrity to photograph. Don't want to say any more because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, like I said, excellent performances. I liked the setup. I liked her trying to figure out how to find her and like that side of it. But yeah, the twist ending wasn't for me. I'm glad they tried something a little different, but I'm not sure it entirely worked. As a horror short, maybe a different story, but as a Black Mirror episode, I wasn't best pleased. In 4th place on my ranking is Demon 79, and I will say from this point on, I did enjoy the show. There was elements of the last episode I liked, don't get me wrong, but from this point onwards, there's nothing I really strongly disliked. Demon 79 though, it did disappoint me a little bit. So the premise of this episode is it's set in England in 1979, and a very timid shop assistant is visited by a demon after finding a talisman, and she is told that she has to kill a certain amount of people to prevent the world basically blowing up and to prevent disaster from happening. basically Knock at the Cabin, but slightly different. We have a campy demon, which is super fun as it takes the shape of the singer from Boney M, as she loves him. And there's a lot of humour in this episode, and also some gnarly kills. I don't want to spoil too much. I won't say anything about the ending, but that's where I kind of fell off. This is a longer episode. I think it's about an hour and 20 minutes long. And whilst it entertained me pretty much throughout, I was kind of disappointed with the ending. The performances were good. Like I said, the guy playing the demon was hilarious and super campy and fun. I absolutely loved that type of demon. He really made me laugh. And the lady, I'm not quite sure of her name. I don't know if I've seen her before. The lady playing the shop assistant was really, really good as well. She's just all over the place. She's terrified. She's hilarious. It's just, she's brilliant. I really liked how them two work together. And it's a dynamic that we don't really see very often in TV or film. Again, I don't know if this kind of fits the tone of Black Mirror. There wasn't really any technology involved here. It was kind of a comedy horror. I like that. Obviously, my favourite genre is comedy horror, so I feel like I can't really complain, but it just didn't have that Black Mirror essence that I love and watch this show for. I don't think it's got much rewatchability either. There's no like massive shock factor here that like sucks you in and makes you want to rewatch it again to see what you can spot. It's just a mid episode. I think I gave it like 3 stars out of 5 or something. It didn't really disappoint me, but it didn't blow me away either. So the next episode I'm going to talk about is Joan is Awful, and that is at my number 3 spot. This is the worst week for me having this hairstyle, honestly. I've been called Becca or Chloe is Awful like 3 times, and it's wild. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter like chatting shit about people that still have this hair in 2023, but I'm owning it. I'm going to go with it. And Salma Hayek looks amazing and Annie Murphy looks amazing, so, you know. So yeah, Joan is Awful is at my number 3 spot, and I had so much fun with this episode. It's probably the most Black Mirror feeling of all of them, so as the first episode of the series, it was nice to kind of get back into that, and I love the performances. Having Salma Hayek in a Black Mirror episode, awesome, and Annie Murphy delivering that comedy that she delivers so well, also really fun. What I will say about this one is that the message is the most Black Mirror of all, but there's no nuance whatsoever. It is so on the nose, and that kind of ruins it for me. I kind of like when Black Mirror doesn't feel the need to like spoon feed its audience and tell you exactly what's going on, and it lets you work it out for yourself, but that's not the case with Joan is Awful whatsoever. In the last 10 minutes, it tells you what's going on, it rushes through the explanation, and it's too on the nose, so I kind of fell out with it. The lead up is really, really fun. Like I said, the performances are amazing. Underutilisation of Michael Cera and Ben Barnes though. I was really excited to see them in Black Mirror, and they're barely in it. I don't even think they count as being part of it, to be honest. They have like tiny cameos. So if you're watching it for that, you'll probably be really disappointed. But yeah, really funny, very Black Mirror, just too on the nose with its message, so it kind of loses that fun element and that shock factor a little bit. In second place, we have Lock Henry, and if this wasn't inside the Black Mirror universe, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. It's very dark, it also doesn't have much of the technology to it, but because I loved it so much, for what it is, I had to have it at number 2 on my ranking. So Lock Henry follows 2 film students, and they go back to where the young lad lives, and they start to film a documentary. And that was all I will say, because anything I could say at this point would probably be a spoiler, and I think it's best to go into Black Mirror as blind as possible. So yeah, it's set in like the country, so there's a lot of beautiful settings and cinematography and things like that. Again, the performances are wonderful. And the main reason I loved this story is that it is super, super dark. I didn't guess the twist. My partner watching with me didn't guess the twist either. And when it was revealed, it sent a shiver down my spine. And like I said with the issue with Joan is Awful, it was a little bit on the nose. Lock Henry is the opposite of that. And the final kind of 5-10 minutes allow you to think for yourself and sit in the character's mind for a little bit, which I really like. That's my favourite thing that Black Mirror does, so it was a really nice return to that. It wasn't perfect. I think I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 or something, but what I really loved about this one is how meta it is. It kind of takes the pee a little bit about true crime and how platforms exploit people's stories, which, yeah, for a Netflix show to bring out an episode about that after all the shit that went down last year with Dharma, you know, it's very meta. I enjoyed that though, and I enjoyed the exploration into true crime because I've never seen that done before. So if you fancy something really dark, really dingy, really dirty, and something that will make you think and sit and just zone out for 5 minutes afterwards, this is the Black Mirror episode for you, and I hope people enjoy this one. I've seen mixed reviews, but I think it's really good, so I hope people get enjoyment out of it like I did. And of course, in my #1 spot is Beyond the Sea, which you will know if you've watched this series as well. I hope you have, by the way. If you haven't seen series 6 by now, please go ahead and watch it and let me know in the comments what your favourite episode is or what your least favourite is. I'd be really intrigued to know, because I think everyone's kind of all over the place, which I think is really cool. I love it when that happens. But yeah, Beyond the Sea, it was an absolutely beautiful, beautiful Black Mirror episode. It feels very Black Mirror. Its message at the end is very important, and yeah, again, it allows you to think for yourself a little bit. And it's haunting. I could have cried. I didn't, but I nearly did. And I think it has the best performances. It has Aaron Paul in it, who we all know and love as his for his role as Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad. A lot of people are saying this is actually the performance of his career, which I don't know if I agree with, but I can see why people are saying it. He is absolutely fantastic. And starring alongside him is Josh Hartnett, who is an absolute treasure. And I'm glad that his career has kind of taken this turn, because he picks some really awesome roles now. And he is really good in this episode. And we also have Kate Mara, who is always delightful. So Beyond the Sea explores the idea of replicas. Josh Hartnett and Aaron Paul play 2 astronauts who spend the entire episode in space, and their replicas are down on Earth, so they kind of get the best of both worlds. They go into a little pod when they want to visit home, and they spend some time at home and then come back, you know, as and when. They swap links for a certain reason, and things start to go wrong is all I'll say about that. So Josh Hartnett's character ends up in Aaron Paul's body, visiting Aaron Paul's family. I don't want to ruin it, and I don't want it to not make sense, because the show is far more straightforward than I've just made it sound. But there is a lot in here to love. The performances, the music is stunning, the cinematography is gorgeous. It's the best plot of the whole series. It's the most well written, in my opinion, and it leaves you thinking. It's really haunting. There's like a romance in there, there's violence, and the ending is absolutely heartbreaking and shocking. Just like all the best Black Mirror episodes, it makes you cry, it makes you really upset and disgusted by the end, and it leaves you thinking for a good 5-10 minutes afterwards. There is a slight issue with this episode that I'm not going to go into right now, but it's so hard to talk about because I don't want to spoil it. But I guess no, is that spoil it? No, I guess I could say it. Basically, if you have a replica of yourself and a real version of yourself, I don't understand why the replica version isn't in space and the real one stays down. I don't know. Comment if you know why they did it that way, and I think it makes for a better story obviously doing it that way, but surely if you had a replica of yourself and you're an astronaut, you'd just send that off and stay home. I don't know. I'm not a writer, I'm not a screenwriter, so I don't really know. But besides from that, if you kind of just go with the episode and go where it takes you, it's the best one of the series. I think you'll all agree with me in saying that. I really enjoyed this one, and out of all of them, I think it's the one I will revisit a little bit more. Perfect performances, beautiful cinematography, and really, really engaging storyline. So that is the end of my ranking. Only 5 episodes this time around, so a bit of more of a quick one for you all. Like I said earlier, let me know in the comments what your favourite episode of Black Mirror is from this series, and let me know all time really. My favourite is probably The Entire History of You, but I also love White Christmas, Shut Up and Dance, and San Junipero, of course, the fan favourite. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the series as a whole, your favourite episode of all time, and maybe in the future I will rank every single episode, so we'll see about that. Thank you for joining me. Again, I'm sorry it's been a long time since I last filmed, but anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.